Yeah, we're going. Now we
Oh,
should be.
all right, awesome. Hello, everyone.
Yes, indeed. Real Enigmas and Theories is back again with another live stream. We got Taran Matharu in the building, and we're going to wait for a couple people to attend. Hop on
Mhm.
in.
We
If
have
y'all
some.
in the chat, shout us out. Say what's up. We got Sweet Pea in the building. Sweet Pea 1776. It's a great year.
All right.
Okay. I am trying to figure out something. Am I able to?
Isn't 1776 one of the years on the wall?
Um, It could be. That's that debatable one on the far right.
Yeah, I can tell you if it is actually. Let me have a look. It's
1776 was the year America became a republic, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. So the number is actually 1773, not 1776.
On
So
that on the wall?
yeah,
Okay.
on the wall. Yeah. Um. Oh, look, we got Jason of the Storm, From Enthusiasts, Kim Merriweather, Horror Fan, Gardenia Blossom. Hello, everyone.
Oh, they in here. They in here.
We got a few people watching.
Okay.
Enough
Okay.
to start the conversation. We've got 20
Hey
people
man,
watching.
Oh,
that show to
okay.
change.
I was going I wanted to show a part of this video. And I mean, while we were talking about it, we were talking about Alice Gee. And this
Yes.
video is one of the videos that I did about the uh the Odd Fellows. And we also this is also relevant to Thomas.
Mhm.
Check out the bracelet on that troll looking guy right there.
Mm.
Trying
Yeah,
to
it's that's what's called a torque. TORQ.
Oh, that's called a torque?
Mhm. It's a type of
Okay.
type of Norse jewelry.
Okay, so we noticed that it's a type of Norse jewelry. Okay, so I noticed that on some of the links in Tabitha's bracelet, and I noticed that the wedding ring that Ellis fashioned for Fatima had this as well.
Mm.
Um,
They
we could
call
look
it
at
a
that a little.
wire doodad. A wire doodad. That's what they
Mm.
call it on the show. Definitely a clue to something. I haven't figured it out quite out yet. What is a doodad? A gadget or other object whose name the speaker does not know or cannot recall. Hmm.
Hmm. We
So what
got
can that
Kim
be?
Merriweather, horror fan. Jason of the Storm. Yeah, you said Jason was in here. From Enthusiast. We have the beautiful Gardenia Blossoms in the building. We have
Sophiel is here.
Brother Golden Child. Del Senior is in the building.
I
We're
feel like
in
we got
here.
some new people here today. I feel like I'm
We
seeing
have
some
the
new
beautiful
faces.
CA 1983 in the building. Yes, indeed. All right. Good evening, everybody. Yes, indeed. CA 1983 says, welcome. Please hit that button on your way in. Smash it. Let's go. Okay, so I just wanted to play a little bit of this, and it goes into the Odd Fellows. And I think that the Odd Fellows have to do something with this as well. I wonder if Jade was ever in an Odd Fellows orphanage at some point.
That
Um,
would be interesting. I would love to see more of Jade's backstory, to be honest. I think Jade's money is gonna be really important on the show. I think at some point, the people of Fromland escape to the real world, and Jade is gonna use his money and connections to, like, host an event in the Tower of London. That's what I think.
okay, that would be crazy. Yes, indeed. Gardenia Blossom throws up the magnifying glasses. It's crazy on StreamYard when I highlight that, it just says whatever the emoji is named. Oh, we got everybody in here. Yes, indeed, Del Senior. Happy birthday, Del Senior. You thought we forgot? Happy
Yeah, happy
birthday.
birthday. Happy birthday.
It is Del Senior's birthday. Happy birthday to the beautiful Del Senior. She's here. Rocking with real enigmas and theories. As always, we have Sophie L in the building. How are you doing? We got Noel Cox in the building. Hey, everyone. I'm listening through YouTube on PC and television, and YouTube on television. Has about 3 second delay. Ha ha ha. No doubt, no doubt. Don't worry, you'll be caught up. Yes. Okay. We just got started. Don't worry about it, Noel. We good. We just getting started. Big hugs to everybody. Everybody showing love to everybody in the chat. Let's throw some emojis and some love for Del Senior on her birthday. It's a party. It's an event. Yes, indeed. Okay, so let's get into this real quick. See what I put down about this. Just a little I guess a spoiler alert for those who haven't seen the Changeling. I don't really think I come with any spoilers in this one small clip that I want to play here, but we'll check it out real quick. Let me mute my mic and go from here. This is probably why that one message board told Emma to blacken out all of the windows so that they could have access to baby Brian. The history of the Changeling farms seems to have roots in world history, but has been hidden for many years. This is actually a topic that I have been researching for a few years, and I was surprised to see it referenced in this show. I actually posted about this on my Instagram in December of last year, before I even started YouTube. So here we go. Check out these postcards depicting babies being born from Cabbage patches. Many of these images appear to have the same woman in them. Did you know that one of the first, if not the first, narrated films was created by a female director who wrote and starred in the film production? Her name was Alice Guy, and the film was entitled Les Fées au Champ. The film depicts a woman picking babies from cabbage plants in a garden. The words kindergarten can literally be translated to garden of children in English. Was that profile from the message board kindergarten speaking about changeling Cabbage Patch babies when they mentioned boiled vegetables? Let's keep going. The actress and director Alice Guy was portraying the same woman in those postcards. Moreover, her film was used to promote the exhibitions and sales of orphan children at many of the world's fairs. The displays were of babies in incubators. And why would people pay to see such a thing? Back then, it was even legal to mail children off with stamps on their clothes. Over time, the world had developed a huge orphan problem that hit an all-time high after several flu epidemics and a large typhoid outbreak. Typhoid Mary was brought up by Willie and Apollo when they reached North Brother Island.
Hey, you know who Mary Mallon was?
Typhoid Mary.
Bingo. Oh, you're smart. The original super spreader. You know they quarantined her here for a third of her life?
Now, an organization who was heavily interested in, quote, helping orphans were the Odd Fellows, or the IOOF, Independent Order of Odd Fellows. This organization was also heavily involved with the Norwegian Quakers. They also were large participators in the World's Fair. The World's Fair is where they would bring hundreds of these orphans and incubator babies. After the typhoid epidemic, many children were left orphaned, along with a lot of the babies that they were growing in cabbage patches. The Odd Fellows stepped into action and helped by creating hundreds of large-scale orphanages all over America. Many of the orphans went missing, and even more have stories of trafficking and much more. If you don't believe me, go look up Odd Fellow in Tonsberg, Norway, trafficking. I don't even want to speak on what you'll find on my channel. Looks like some of this stuff is still going on to this day. Now, I know I keep a few skeptics in the comments. Okay, so I wanted to bring that up about the Cabbage Patch because of this photo right here. Let me try to pull up this photo real quick. In this photo, we see of the season 3 trailer. We see Donna holding what looks to be like a cabbage, or it could be a cauliflower, but it looks like to me that the crops are suffering from blight.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they're rotting in the soil.
Right. And so that indicates blight of some sort. And I seen somebody say that it looked like it was burnt. It does kind of look like it was burnt, but I don't think vegetables look like that. Like when you burn them with fire, like they kind of melt on down. I guess kind of like
Well,
they would do on a
pile
grill.
of rotting vegetables next to the greenhouse suggests that it's just rot, because they don't
Oh,
look burnt when they're next to the greenhouse, right?
to me, it didn't look like that, but some people, I've seen people saying that it does look like they look burnt. But I think it's blight, and I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that would be the pretty much reference to her saying that something was wrong with the soil, and blight would be the answer to that, right? So there's some sort of blight that they made happen, or some sort of just a virus or something that the stuff has that their crops are getting from the soil. But I brought that up because we have an orphan on the show who has become a very prominent character, one of the most important characters, who I think it is, and a lot of people's favorite character, which is Jade. And Jade is an orphan, and he was shipped after his grandmother passed away. He was shipped to America. So I'm wondering, at some point, they said he was brought here to live with his uncle. Well, that's what he said. So I'm wondering if at some point he was in an Oddfellows orphanage, because a lot of times when children are sent, to family members and they were in the orphan system, they have to go there until a lot of the paperwork is done. Even some of the Boys Town organization used to handle some of that arbitration for adopted children as well, or orphan children. So this character here, well, not character, but where is here we go, Wikipedia. Alice Guy. Alice Guy is the woman that you seen in the video that I just played, who pretty much made one of the first, or if not the first, motion picture narrative movie. And the movie was about her picking babies out of a cabbage patch. A long time ago, there used to be baby Cabbage Patch baby cards that were sent all over the United States and other places as well, in France. And these cards were used to sell children. They used to actually sell children at the World's Fair as well. And we've seen the World's Fair has been brought up, or there was a clue of the World's Fair in the tunnels on that sticker on that suitcase in the tunnels. Now, the World's Fair is where Alice Guy had her bright idea to make a movie about babies being born out of cabbage patches. We got Kim Merriweather with the $5 super chat. She says, I know what the symbol is. It's a GPS and time machine. And we're going to get to that. I believe that
Which
as
symbol?
well.
Is it the F symbol, or is it the 3 roots
The
around the
roots.
whole
I think she's
symbol?
talking about the roots, because
The roots
that's
one.
where I think the same thing. And
Mhm.
I think that Jade coming into information of the eclipse, he's going to be able to tell where they are in time. But we were going to get to that, but we were talking about Alice Guy and everything, because that has to do a lot with your theory of the eclipse, which I'm 100% on board with that theory. It's funnier because earlier this year I was talking about the eclipse and how the symbol looks like the trajectory of the last 3 eclipses that we've had here in America. Let me look this up real quick, and I'll just go over it a little bit. I was going to do a video and I was going to add some real like shaky material in there, but I don't want to shake things up too much and get my page deleted or anything like that. Just, on some conspiracy theory type shit. So, yeah, Taran, go ahead and rap a little bit while I find these pictures and put it all together.
Yeah, sure. So, um, I guess I could talk a little bit about a new thread of clues that I recently discovered, and I'm trying to get my theory finished before season 3 comes out. And I'm worried that there's this whole, like, literally hundreds of clues um, hidden in the social media posts of the actors on the show and actors that are about to be on the show. Um, Literally, and it's all in emojis and the things they take pictures of and the words they use in their posts. And it's pretty obvious that the showrunners have given them a series of emojis to scatter through their social media posts over the last year. And what's super interesting is some of them, they're just lazy with it and they just randomly copy and paste all of the emojis that they've been asked to share in one post. I mean, I don't know if it's laziness or if it's just like, let's make it a really obvious clue. But in any case, it's super interesting, these emojis that are showing up. There's pretty much only one thing I've added to my theory from it. They keep sharing emojis of crabs and lobsters and stuff, um, which I've connected to. Well, I won't talk about that because it'll just sound crazy. But in any case, so if anyone is like, I need to solve the show, um, I strongly feel that looking at the social media profiles of the actors on a regular basis will provide clues. Um, and I would like to share, if I may, an image that came from one of the actors' profiles. I can't talk about whose profile it is, but
Kenny cleaned his whole profile off. He had a
yeah.
bunch of clues on his page, but he cleaned this whole page off.
Well, we can
So
tease the video reel without quite saying what it's about, can't we?
yeah, go for it. Go for it. I'm with it. Yeah, let's
All right.
build a little bit of anticipation on this next video we're working on.
All right, guys. Real and I have stumbled across something pretty cool, but we want to make sure that we finish researching it so we can present it all in one go. And we also don't want to do it too soon before the next season comes out, because we don't want to spoil it for you guys as well, because there's some implications to what we are uncovering at the moment. But it is equally undeniable when you see it. So we're excited to share that with you. All I can say is it's gonna come out before season 3 launches. And it depends on how long it takes us to put it together. Another thing we're working on is combining all the emojis that we find are being used as clues by the actors, and then sharing that database with everyone so that they can use them to solve the show themselves. That'll be very useful for me in general anyway, because I haven't used any of these emoji clues in my theories, and I'm kind of kicking myself because there's some like random ones in there that I don't know what they mean. It is gratifying though to see so many of the symbols that I've been finding in the background of the show and in the dialogue of the show, and then seeing them cropping up again and again and again in the emojis that are being shared has been quite gratifying. But there are a few in there that I'm like, what does that mean? Like wind chimes keep coming up, and the evil eye charm. I think I know what it means, but that one comes up a lot. There's a disco ball constantly, which suggests to me that there's a disco component to the show in terms of some of the historical figures
When I noticed
that
these
pass
two,
artifacts down. Okay, here we go. Real has found what he is looking for. What are you looking for, man? Oh, is it gone? Alright, I think Real's left the room for a little bit. Oh no.
no, I'm back.
Oh,
I'm
you're
back.
back.
Here we are. Here we are. Okay. So thank you for that, brother. Letting them know what we're about to be doing in regards to the social media accounts of the actors involved with the show. And feel free, guys, to have fun with this along with us. Like, go check out a lot of these people, and we'll show you what we found and what we came up with. I think you're gonna really enjoy it. Hopefully we're not really jumping out the window with some real spoiler shit. And we were reluctant to actually put some of this out, but I think we should, and I think we should do it in a way that that when it's revealed that what we did, then we'll go ahead and like give y'all the full blast of everything.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
okay, okay. So Madam CEO dropped a comment. She said, "Oh my God, I watched a YouTube video on this a few months ago. It's really insane. Look up the Cabbage Patch Babies for Cabbage Patch Babies." Yes. This is a subject that I've been actually researching for a couple of years. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a post that I posted back in 2021. I think somewhere in December of 2021, I posted about the Cabbage Patch Babies and the repopulation system that they had back in the day. Anyway, we won't get into that real heavy, but I do want to talk about um Taran's eclipse theory, and I want to talk a little bit about uh what a theory that I had before he realized it. I didn't even realize it when he brought it to me. I was really hyped about it. And last night, I don't if y'all guys were in the Discord, y'all got to come check us out in the Discord. We hung out for a long time in the Discord last night. And we broke day in there. We was in there after 12 o'clock. Delcinia had her birthday in there. We we was in there having a good time, and we was dropping some jewels. So if y'all, somebody drop the link to the Discord in there so people can get that invite and come on in there and join us and build with us sometimes. But I want to expand on the eclipse theory and talk about it a little bit. First, I'll start off by saying that From talked about or mentioned cicadas. And in 2024, there was an emergence of cicadas that a double brood was to emerge in 2024. It started happening already. It's still going on in some places. And the cicadas are like, overpopulating in certain areas in America right now. And I thought that that was interesting um that they mentioned cicadas with that happening in that following year. And so I got to looking at some things. And also in 2024, I know you guys remember in April 8th, we had an eclipse. Okay. And I was just stretching my mind out a little bit and exercising my brain a little bit. And I noticed that the trajectory of the last three eclipses to hit America were kind of in the shape of the symbol that Jade is obsessed with. And they were kind of in the shape of the symbol. And it made me think about that. And also the fact that they had talked about the cicadas. And I was like, let me find out if From is doing some predictive programming for 2024. And so I did a little more digging, and I realized that the states, okay, that this okay, so this was this eclipse right here that I'm pointing at was the last eclipse that we had. This was the one we had in 2022, and this one was the one we had in 2017. This is called the Great American Eclipse, the one we had in 2017, because it was noticeable from Washington all the way to Florida. And however, this eclipse is the one that happened April 8th, 2024. And this one is very dope because our favorite show From is taped in one of the cities that this eclipse crossed over. And the name of that city is called Nineveh. Now, Nineveh is in the Bible. And in the Bible, it speaks of Nineveh, and it's not a good way. And it kind of resonates with what is said about From, actually. 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. And this is in the book of Jonah. Now, the eclipse path went through several cities, 7 cities to be exact, named Nineveh. It was Nineveh, Nova Scotia, and that is where the show is being filmed. Then it went through Nineveh, New York, Nineveh, Pennsylvania, Nineveh, Ohio, Nineveh, Indiana, and Nineveh, Texas. It also went through a city called Rapture, Indiana, and Jonah, Texas. And in the book of Jonah, it's brought up about the book of Jonah brings up the city of Nineveh in the Bible. And in the book of Matthew, it brings up Jonah. It says, an evil and adulterous generation seeks for a sign, but no sign shall be given except to the sign of the prophet Jonah. Okay. And that is in Matthew 12:39. Now, I thought it was very interesting that Taran came with the theory of the eclipse, and it got my mind jogging even more. Now, I said to myself, what else happened in 2024 that could have been probably programmed? Now, I don't want to say it here because I'm going to tell you it's so wild. And I've said it before, and a couple of people already know are picking up what I'm putting down. But what I've said is so wild, it could probably get my channel shut down, to be honest. And I don't think even the showrunners probably would like it. The implications are crazy. But a lot of there could be a lot of pushback, and it could be just a big coincidence. But I just thought it was noteworthy, and I thought that this thought in hindsight that I had about the symbol and the trajectory of those eclipses definitely lends some credence to Taran's theory. And I want to even do one better. I think that not only are they going to have an eclipse in Frumland, but I think that eclipse will be synonymous in the real world with Tabitha. Maybe we'll see like a news report of the eclipse is up and coming. And Tabitha gets out in the real world, I think it should be 2022. And that's when we had an eclipse actually at that time. So I'll just, lay it down there. And I'm gonna look through some of the comments. You tell me what your thoughts are on that, Taran. I'm gonna look through some of the comments and see what everybody's talking about.
Well, I mean, I do think it's interesting that we've had an eclipse recently, and there's potentially going to be an eclipse on the show. I'm not sure if the showrunners timed it that way initially. I mean, remember the show got delayed. It would probably have been out earlier this year if there wasn't for those writer strikes. So maybe they intended for the episode to come out while there was an eclipse in North America, potentially.
Or
But
right after the eclipse. I mean, last year they started in what, June or May? They
yeah, something
started the
like
show in either May or June last year, so they would have probably did it after the eclipse and showed that in there. People still would have made that connection because it would have had to been filmed at least a year beforehand, you see? And still, even though From would have dropped earlier this year, it's still dropping this year. So, I mean, if we get 10 episodes, that's going to be what, 10 weeks? It's going to be over by the beginning of
oh my
November.
god. Yeah, it's gonna be 2.5 months of waiting for the episode every week. And, I'm not gonna lie, I am psyched for it. I have been getting, laughed at in this, like, From Epics Discord by a whole bunch of people who think that all the historical figures that, I think the show is referencing is just complete rubbish, and they're not very polite about it. And they're so confident in their dismissal, of my theories. And one of them's even a history teacher, believe it or not. And also his favorite hobby is like card games. So I think it would be kind of interesting that someone whose favorite hobby is a trading card game, a playing card game, who's a professional historian, is the one who's giving me the most grief about my theories, saying that I'm wrong. So I think it'd be quite ironic for him when he learns that actually he's been missing all these references, even when they're explained to him. Um, but yeah, anyway, sorry to go off on a tangent. So I'm super excited to see season 3, because when the first historical figures start appearing and people realize that this is a treasure hunt for historical figures across timelines, and then they see that I've literally got lists of hundreds of historical figures, and we're probably going to meet something like 30 historical figures in season 3. Um, in my opinion. And I will probably imagine that I'll get 60% of them correct, maybe 70%. I don't know. At that point, it'll be very difficult to dismiss my methodology for solving the show, I guess is what I would say. I have a way of solving clues that no one else is doing at the moment. And once it's revealed that my lists of historical figures from these timelines are correct, um, I think folks will start listening to me when it comes to how to solve clues on the show. And it's all about Wikipedia. It's literally all about Wikipedia and keywords, and that's about it. That's how you solve the show. They designed it that way. They literally leave. It's almost like playing that game, the Wikipedia race, where you try and get from one page to another without typing anything in, just by clicking on Wikipedia links until you get from one to the next. Um, so yeah, sorry, to go off on a tangent there again, but that's why I'm so excited to see season 3. I thought I would need to wait 6 seasons until anyone would see that I was on the right track, and then I learned that they had all these historical figures in the time travel portion of the show. So I'm super excited for it. Sorry to talk about it so much, but it's just it has been a little bit disheartening to get so much like sort of sarcastic dismissal from people. Especially when their arguments are really really bad. So it would just be and that, to be honest, it's just how rude they are about it and how confident they are in their rudeness. So it would just be nice to get some gratification there that there's really no reason to speak to others like that, even if you think you're totally correct, because you might actually benefit from opening your mind a little bit. But we'll see. Maybe I'm completely wrong. In which case, I'll say, you know what, guys, you were right to mess with me, because I was completely wrong. But I just don't think I am. unless I've completely lost my mind, there's just far too much evidence, far too much to suggest that there is a whole litany of historical figures that we're going to meet in season 3. Literally, I think there will be 250 plus historical figures shown on the show by the time season 6 is done.
Okay, so I think when the eclipse happens, people that have been doubting your theories are going to have to raise their eyebrows a bit and say, this guy may be onto something.
I mean, at
You've
the
been
very least,
you've been
I'm
talking
good
about
at guessing
go
stuff.
ahead. At the
I'm just
very
saying, if
least,
I get
what?
the eclipse right, if I get Fatima's baby being removed right, if I get Eloise Tabitha's mom right, if I get that Eloise and Tabitha are going on like a Da Vinci Code type quest in Europe correct, then you guys have to ask yourselves, what else might I be right about? And then if I get Aunt Caroline and time travel to 1978 by Jim and this whole bracelet being copied cycle, if I guess all of that correctly, first of all, I think all the rude people online are gonna say that I have some sort of spy on the show. That's probably what's gonna happen,
Yeah,
which
I believe so. They,
which would
I
be
get I get messages like that. People say stuff like that already. They say that stuff about you too.
only on Facebook so far when I posted my season 3 theory, because it just makes so much sense, I'm sorry. Like, the bracelet cycle, that creates the bootstrap paradox, like, it's basically, for me, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just waiting for it to happen. I have 0 doubt in my mind that Eloise is Tabitha's mom, that she copies her mom's bracelet, that, Jim's dad drives it into Fromland. I'm certain that that cycle is broadly correct. So if I get all of that right, basically the people who are saying you're crazy are now going to say, no, the evidence you used to get to your conclusions was poor, therefore you're cheating somehow. Which is frustrating because the showrunners themselves have declared that there is enough evidence on the show to solve the entire thing. If I may give you a quote reel that I think you would like, um, the quote is this. Where is it? There's clues all along the way about how it was going to end. We feel very confident that we have all that. Will some people guess it? Maybe, and they'll be satisfied in how clever and astute they were. Most people will not. So that's what they're suggesting here, is
Mm,
that you can solve this show. They are very confident that it's solvable. They
mm,
have actors dedicating great amounts of time and brain power. Like, some of them have gone to the trouble of very elaborate images and, like, contrived situations to get all of the symbols that the showrunners have asked them to include on the show, and then some of them have
yes.
just been lazy and spewed all the emojis in one post and then not done anything else. So it's kind of interesting to see that as well.
And
Um
then we talked about a little of that in the last live we had when I was
That was
saying
on
that.
Discord. We have not discussed this on a live before, real.
Oh shit. Oh,
Yeah.
see, y'all gotta join the Discord because the that bit of information that I told you I was reluctant to give on my YouTube channel, I'm gonna drop that in the Discord. And I'm gonna do a detailed video about it with that piece omitted from it, but the answer will be in the Discord. So y'all gotta go check it out. It's a controversial thing for sure. A lot of people gonna think I'm bugging, but you won't be able to deny the facts. You can say that it's just a coincidence, but you won't be able to deny it's there and that
Mhm.
it's apparent.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I just don't
Yeah.
want to get the YouTube page. All of us have worked so hard to build it up to where it is. We're trying to go even farther with the YouTube page. And I would not have been able to do this without you, without a lot of people, everybody in this chat right here. I just would not have been able to do it. We got Julia in the building. But Candy Vane says, have we been able to match the eclipses from the past with the dates in the lighthouse? And yes, we have. Taryn and I think I dropped that
Well,
in.
I have to say I haven't done any research on this. So so this is your theory, real. I can't take any credit, or considering I haven't researched it yet, I can't suggest that like it's part of my theory either. I
Hmm.
think it's very interesting though, real suggesting that there's an eclipse on every year. The thing is, in the United States, there practically is an eclipse every single year of the year.
No,
So
it's not. It's
not
not.
a solar one or a lunar one.
There's an
There's
eclipse every single day, but
yeah.
it's in a different place on the earth. And sometimes it's out in the ocean. Most of the time it's out in the ocean and people don't bear witness to it. However, America, and just like most countries, only get, their fair share of eclipses because it is an anomaly, right? And it doesn't happen every year. It just doesn't not in America, it doesn't
No, I
happen
think you're
anywhere.
right, real. I've just you know what? I got that information from someone I was speaking to, and
Mhm.
then I took what they said as the truth. But I just looked it up, and it looks like North America typically sees a lunar eclipse about 1 to 3 times a year, but whether it's total, partial, or penumbral varies.
Mhm.
So that's interesting. 1 to 3 times a year, lunar one. And then a solar eclipse, which is the one we think is going to show up on the show, right? That's once
Right.
every 1 to 2 years in North America.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's quite likely that there is an eclipse on every day on that lighthouse because they are actually relatively common. I don't
Well,
think that the information is available online where somebody's gone back and mapped out every eclipse that touched North America back in that
yes.
time. I think
Yes.
you can just
Yes, because you
assume.
can predict them. You can
Oh, yeah,
predict
I'm
the
sure,
eclipses. So if you
but
can predict them, then you can go backwards and backtrack them. We
I
had
think you
one.
can. I just don't know if the information's publicly available is what I'm
It
saying.
is. I posted it in our WhatsApp chat. It says, I posted it. It says the United States experienced a total eclipse on July 20th, 1506. That's one of the dates.
Okay,
The
let me have a
the
look.
instant of great eclipse that takes place on 1864, September 15th at 1829, 36 o'clock. You have the partial solar eclipse on July 30th of 1609. You have the total solar eclipse occurred on May 13th of 1752, and it passed through Florida. You have the
Wow.
1931 eclipse, where there were four eclipses, two partial solar eclipses and a total lunar eclipse with another partial solar eclipse. The United
Well,
States experienced two eclipses in 1833, a partial
mhm,
lunar eclipse on July 2nd and the total solar eclipse on July 17th. Get this. In 1978, the there were four eclipses. There were March 24th, lunar eclipse, April 7th, partial solar eclipse, September 16th, a total lunar eclipse, and October 2nd, a partial solar eclipse. Then we have 1672 on August 22nd. Notice the 22 on that one.
mhm,
22 is a prominent number and from.
mhm.
The show released on February 22nd in 2022. So it released on the original air date was 2/22/22. So and then they're bringing it back on uh September 22nd, which was the original air date of Lost. So yeah, they're definitely playing with the numbers, the esoterics, and last but not least, we have 1771, which is the um debatable date, but there was one on March 14th and it doubled back on in May 14th. So
Well,
yeah.
real, you have convinced me that it would appear that we have confirmation there is basically an eclipse on every year on that lighthouse date.
So
That
what's
light.
even crazier about this? Okay, so these years on the tower are also years that turning point events have happened in the United States. And what a coincidence that every time we had a turning point event, it was followed by an eclipse, or the eclipse came and the turning point event was following. Like that is a very crazy. That's just as coincidental as 7 cities in the path of the last eclipse named Nineveh? How does that happen, right? You have 7 cities in America that I'm sure were all named in different times. Some of them were probably named 100 years apart. And then a century later, all 7 of those cities are in the path and the trajectory of an American eclipse. Not to mention those three lines of the eclipse are reminiscent of the symbol, and those 3 eclipses are eclipses that all happen in the contiguous United States, which we know our travelers were all traveling from. I just think there's a lot of coincidences there. When there's so many coincidences there, it begins to go from a coincidence to a coincident.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I think you should post it in the Discord and see what everyone has to say about it. It's a like higher level of thinking that some people might not get, but it's definitely worth discussing and exploring.
When I'm coming right off the top like
Mhm,
this, when I'm coming right off the cuff like this,
mhm.
I don't do the thought any justice. I think I do need to go ahead and produce the video. I'm gonna do a video on it after I write down my season 3 theory. My
Mm,
season, we're both doing. Taryn and I are both doing theories about how the entire season 3 is gonna play out. And so
yeah.
I'm gonna do a video like that, and he's gonna do one. And then after that, I'll do a video about the predictive programming. You
Mhm.
guys cool with that? Let me know in the chat.
Mm.
Uh, let's see here. Julie says in chat, I'm having terrible issues with my Chromebook and the trackpad on my laptop stopped working. I might disappear for a bit. I'm trying to find my other Chromebook.
Mm.
Okay. Don't
No
stress.
worries, Julie.
No
I hope you
worries.
join us though.
Percy's in the building. What's good, Percy? He says the years are connected to male and a male to male, a female event, a male and female event, maybe. And some break through the science, medicines, weapons, procedures also.
That's some
That's interesting.
ChatGPT answer right there, I think. That's what a lot of people have been posting in Reddit and Facebook saying that's what ChatGPT told them.
What?
Medicines, inventions. That's just what we basically when people write down in history like notable events, it often is like the invention of this, the discovery of that. So that's what often comes up, like the discovery of a type of surgical procedure, the invention of a type of weapon, the invention of a type of medicine. So generally, that's what AI throws at you. That's my understanding. But it's possible that that's also how the showrunners are thinking. So that's not to say it's wrong. Um, I'm not here to like put down anyone's theories. I'm just saying that's where my thinking lies with that sort of answer to it. I think it's a lot more if anyone cares about my opinion is that the years specifically relate to sets of individuals from history that the showrunners wanted to showcase on the show and whose life stories coincide with some of the symbology that is on the show as well. So, and I think that'll bear out next season. Like, guys, if you watch in season 3, Jim and Kenny hanging out with a lady called Caroline, who's a hoodoo witch, you'll know that what I'm saying is true. And I'm pretty certain at this point. In fact, Real and I, well, actually, I won't go into it yet. But it's an interesting exercise at the moment, looking into this witch character. Although Real has his own theories on who the witch character in season 3 will be, and we'll see which one it ends up being.
Right. I think okay, so here's the thing. Caroline died. My
Mm,
grandmother used to say we were related to her. But a lot of people's grandmother used to say that to them. You know what I'm saying? My grandmom's not
uh,
here to like defend herself right now, but my
sure.
mom said that that's not true. And she said that a lot of her girlfriends' grandmothers used to say that too. back in the day. So I always thought that was funny. When you brought her up, I was like, yo, that's crazy that he's bringing her up. Remember I told you that?
Yeah, you told me straight away, man. You straight
Yeah.
away was like, "Yeah, my grandma told me I was related to her," and I was like, "That is it's a small world."
Yeah,
I
but
have
there's a lot
a
of in the South, that's
Mm,
what a lot of grandmothers who like, medicine women and stuff like that.
sure.
That's what they would say. And the reason why it was because of the philanthropy of this woman. You know what I'm saying? She used to take care of everyone, and she built a reputation for taking care of lost children.
Mm,
And so it could be very well true. A lot of people's grandmothers saying that are probably descendants of her adopted children. You see what I'm saying? So that's probably where that came from. And that's what my mom said. So, I just shout out to my mom real quick because she knows our family history as well. You know what I'm saying?
uh-huh.
But yeah, I thought that was funny. I also you're right though. I do think it's Tituba. Um,
Yeah.
and the reason why is
'Cause of
because
the
Tituba
purity,
was
right?
actually owned by a Puritan.
Yeah.
So she was owned by a Puritan, and I think that they may have her in the timeline somewhere. They've already showed us Puritans, and they have shown us a mirrored image of the whole starving time situation, like what we have here with Boyd and them. Now, just a quick mention about the starving time in 1609 and what we see in the in the from trailer and what Boyd says. He specifically used the word ambush. Now in
Mm,
1609 there was a big ambush by the Indians around in that area, um towards the settlers in Jamestown. That's what made them have to hunker down. They were ambushed. A lot of them were killed. All of their crops were killed and destroyed, and they weren't able to tend to the crops. And that's what made them hunker down inside their fort, where they started, eating their shoes. They started eating the shoe leather. They started eating the rats. They was eating the horses. When they got done with all the horses, they started eating corpses. And so, you know, that whole situation, I hope they don't go that route and from. I really do hope that they don't go that route. Um, but it's possible. It's very possible if they're I think that they'll probably mention or mirror everything but that if they were smart. I think cannibalism will turn a lot of people off of the show. That's just my opinion.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man, I'm getting a lot of clues about cannibalism. I'm just not sure if it'll happen in the, like, modern day timeline, but I'm fairly certain it happens in the, John Cabot timeline. Fairly certain. Um,
Okay.
like, do you know when Nathan says, um, "Those animals aren't gonna be those animals" no, Sarah says to Nathan, "Those animals aren't gonna feed themselves." And then Nathan says, "It'd be cool if they did, right?" I mean, that's not a funny joke, you know? It's not I don't even know what that conversation was, you know?
Yeah,
I
that
think
was kind of like that was showing you that it was probably a hit or it's probably, significant.
yeah, and for me, it's like, it sounds like it's like feeding on yourself, as in humans eating humans. Animals feeding themselves, humans feeding on themselves. That's what I got a vibe for. I actually think that there will be discussion of cannibalism on the show, a debates about cannibalism, but I don't think they're actually gonna show cannibalism. I think we might if I had to go, like, really tinfoil here, I would say that, maybe Christie's leg needs to be amputated after her accident, and then after they cut it off,
They
they
discuss
then
eating it.
yeah, they discuss whether they should eat it, and I think they then decide not to.
Yo, that's crazy. All right, so now here's how they can introduce cannibalism into the show and it not scare people away. If they introduce other people there that are cannibals. Like if they go to that cabin and them dudes in there is on some cannibal shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be okay. But if they try to make the residents that we know into cannibals, I think it's going to turn a lot of people off. I think it'll turn a lot of people off. I
I
think even
agree.
I
I
think
think
even
watching Julie eat someone would not appeal to people.
mm-mm, mm-mm, not at all. And
But,
I
you know, it did
go
it
ahead.
it did work for what's it called? That,
Yellow Jackets.
yeah, Yellow Jackets. I mean, I think we'll see some cannibalism at some point on the show. I'm pretty certain of it. But I just don't think yeah, like you said, any beloved characters on the show, watching them like gnaw on a I mean, it is shocking. It would be shocking. It would make people feel sick. They'd be kind of disgusted. I don't know, is that what horror is to the showrunners?
I
I don't know,
know, right?
they show a lot of blood and guts. They show a lot of people disemboweled. You know, there is gore on this show. There is kinda grossness on this show, worms under people's skins, cicadas, like, crawling into people's mouths, spiders crawling all over Boyd. They've even said this is kind of interesting. They've even on the show on Instagram for the show for season 1, they went through all the phobias that the show has. Arachnophobia, broken glass phobia, there are all sorts of phobias that they were highlighting, and I do wonder whether the showrunners have thought, "Let's go through as many phobias as we can on this show." So it's possible that they'll show someone eating Christie's leg, maybe. I think it would be crazy and really messed up. But maybe the showrunners are like, "Look, we have an opportunity. They're starving. In the origin story, there's cannibalism." And real if I may mention one more thing before I stop my rant,
No, go ahead.
in the description of season 3, in some articles online, it talks about the showrunners having it talks about the town having to make, like, a moral choice about something or, like, oh, yeah, it's like push the limits of their humanity, I think what the phrase was. Now
Oh, wow.
what pushes the limit of people's humanity more than
You
cannibalism?
more yeah, I was gonna say nothing more than cannibalism, I would think.
Now, you know what else I think is gonna happen? I think that everyone is gonna leave modern day Fromland and end up time traveling. I think everyone leaves. I think when the food runs out, there's no solution. They send out a search party that's Christy and Jade, Jim and Kenny. Christy and Jade come back. Christy's injured, right? Everyone's starving. Jade and Jim, they wait a couple of days. They don't come back either. And they're like, well, we can either starve to death, the monsters will kill us, or we can follow Jim and Jade into the tree and see where it takes us. And I think that the town is split on that decision. Maybe some people stay and eat Christie's leg, and the kids, Julie and Ethan, maybe Sarah and a few others, they go through the tree and leave that behind.
Where did you get the description for season 3?
It'll be in an article about Comic-Con and the season 3 trailer. If you type in from season 3 trailer Comic-Con and then you go to news on Google, it should come up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see that. We saw the new actors there. We see the
Let me
new
see if I
actors.
can find it. Humanity from season 3. You keep talking, man. Sorry, I'm talking aloud.
No, no, the we have Samantha Brown and Robert Joy, Andrea DeVoe are all joining the show as cast members that we know of.
Uh-huh.
Um, this guy's playing Victor's father. He fits the bill. This is the cop, and this is the patient.
Acosta, which means by the coast.
Right? Yes.
That's
Now
what the name means.
the Acosta, the cop Acosta means by the coast. Yes, indeed. What if that's a shout out to Cape Race?
What is, sorry?
By the
Acosta?
coast, Acosta.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, there's lighthouses, right, which exclusively exist by the coast. I mean, if look, man, I just, uh, It's an island, okay? It's just like Lost. It's all about islands. It's about a mysterious island that's part of mythology, and in the lore of the show, it's Newfoundland. Okay, and they make it Odysseus's island. They make it Dante's Purgatory Island. They make it the mysterious island of Punt in Egyptian folklore. They make it the Promised Land in Welsh Arthurian folklore. I know this. I know this for a fact. It's just gonna take a while for everyone to see it. So that's why it's by the coast. That's why there's lighthouses. It's about a ship traveling to a mysterious island, and it's clearly to do with American history. So they're gonna do it on an island in North America. And if it's about American history and colonialism and the history of colonization of the United States, it's gonna be Newfoundland because that's where the Vikings were. It's where the first Europeans ever set foot in North America. It's the first interactions between Native Americans and Europeans happen in Newfoundland. It literally is Newfoundland. And I just can't I get so frustrated because there's so much evidence pointing to there, and it's literally the first clue that everyone needs to solve and accept. Like, it's literally the first clue on the show. When the wall of questions is written, what is the first thing that Jim writes on the wall? Do you remember this, Real? What the first thing he writes on the wall is?
Where are we?
Exactly, and he says, what does he say when he points at the question?
I don't remember. What does he say?
He says, "There. That's where we begin." He's
Okay.
basically telling everyone who's trying to solve this show, the first question you should be asking is
Is where are we?
where are we? It's a location. It's saying find a location. If you find the location, everything flows from there. So I
Everything flows from where that is. Yeah, that's
and it
fact.
all flows from Newfoundland, man. I promise you. Um, but the problem is until Tabitha um meets Stephen King or Stephen Fry, and they read from a diary, and we learn about the origin story of the Curse of Fromland in Newfoundland. Only then will people believe me, unfortunately. Um,
Hey,
until
yo,
then, they're
shout
just
out to Dieter. Last time,
mhm.
I think you sent me a message asking did I see your Cash App, and if I didn't mention your Cash App, I totally apologize for that. However, shout out to that for your Cash App. I did, if that was you, I might be mistaking you with someone else. If I'm, I'm sorry for that. But yeah, I definitely if I didn't mention it, I didn't see it because if I would have saw it, I would have definitely shouted you out for sure. And I apologize if I did miss that. But
We got a Cash App from Kim Merriweather, which was I know what the symbol is. It's a GPS and a time machine, but we didn't actually comment on what she said. We just discussed which symbol she was talking about. So
right,
let's be fair to Kim because she did donate $5 and discuss this theory of hers. I know
right.
what the symbol is. It's
I
a
did say
GPS.
something about it, but we were talking and we didn't come back to it. And
Yes,
what
it
I
was my fault, real. It was my fault.
it's no biggie. You know, we doing this. We trying to show love to everybody, and that was
Mhm,
a great comment because I'm thinking the same thing along with her, and I think
mhm.
that this is what will enable Jade to be able to predict um several one of several things or all of several things, and those things are when a car or when someone will enter Frumlin, where they will enter from, and what time they're going to enter. And I think he will be able to figure these things out. And I think an eclipse would definitely help him because an eclipse will tell you what time you're in. It'll tell you where you're located at. You see what I'm saying? Because an eclipse can only be viewed from certain spots. And so
It is an
that will
interesting theory. I'm not against it.
that will
I
give
think
him something to work with. Not only that, Ethan states that the Lonely Dragon gives the Chromonacle the map from the cavern of the Lonely Dragon. Tabitha gets the bracelet out of there and calls it a piece of Lonely Dragon's treasure. Tien Chen goes to that same storage room with Jade and gives him the book with the symbols in it. Now, at the beginning on season 1, episode 3, Tabitha states that there will be 2 Chromonocles. So I'm thinking that Jade is a Chromonocle, Tien Chen is his Lonely Dragon, and Tabitha is a Chromonocle, and Victor is her Lonely Dragon. Because he gives her a map of sorts. He shows her a map or a picture of the bottle tree and then takes her to it. So that's kind of like a map as well. And I think that Jade will be able to start figuring this out. That's why he's made that like spider web thing above himself and he's laying down under it. Let's not forget, here's my last part of this, the clue, is that when he saw his first vision, he saw the guy with the boulder on top of him. He screamed. Jade jumps back. He falls on his back. And then the symbol starts showing on the roof above him, on the ceiling above him. This is mirroring the children laying on their backs on the slab, looking at the actual roots above them. And that's where it all kind of connects for me as a clue of he will be the one to figure out some things. And I know I said that was my last point, but I want to say this. I think by season 4, the end of season 4, our batch of residents that we have in there right now, the residents that we have, that's our batch. That's the batch that we're looking at and we're bearing witness to. I think we can all agree that there have been several batches that have come through over the times. Each of them has contributed something that can fight against the entities. And I think our batch of residents will contribute something that can definitely, if not fight against the residents, but also break this whole thing and open it up and let people free. And
Sorry, I was muted.
I think that's prophesized in the caves as well. I know that was a little long-winded, but as you said, you know, her compliment definitely deserves some shout out.
Nice. May I just quickly call out Venetia's comment there about Fred Astaire? Venetia, I believe that Fred Astaire and his sister will actually be characters in the 1930s timeline of the show. I genuinely believe that, and I believe the dummy is a dummy called Charlie from an act from the 1930s as well. Or maybe it was the 1880s. I can't remember. I think it's 1930s because there's black and white TV of him. Yeah, so I think it's a real dummy. Kim wants to call in, real.
Sure. Hold on, let me do this. I'll put a link to the StreamYard and you can just click the link and come on up. I'll bring you on up.
Yeah, I think calling in the connection's never that great, and obviously it costs someone to call like internationally. So I like StreamYard more because you can hear what the people are saying and stuff. Plus, if someone calls in, sometimes the other person on StreamYard can't hear you. Happens on Tony's channel all the time. So it's better.
Mods, if you can grab that link, and when we want somebody to come on up, drop that link in there for them, and we can make it happen. If you want to come up, go ahead and hit the link. We'll bring you right on up and let you speak your piece on the subject, or bring up another topic that we can talk about. That's fine with me. But when you're ready, I'll see you when you come in there, and we'll bring you up.
Cool. I'll just answer one quick question from Tanya. I'm actually I'd love to be in a conversation while someone else is here. But then I'll have to go to bed because it's 4 a.m. here, and like I pretty much stay up. My whole like sleeping schedule's messed up because I stay up late to talk about From. But just to be clear on the timeline thing, what I'm saying is that Fromland was created in like 1502 or 1503, and it's been going for like more than 500 years. And over those 500 years, it's taken real historical figures from North America and brought them into Fromland, just like the characters that we're seeing today are have been pulled into Fromland. And uh, what's going to happen, in my opinion, is that most of the characters that we meet on the show are going to leave the modern town and time travel back to an older version of the town. The reason I think everyone's going to leave the modern town is that they've clearly made Colony House so that they can use it in the 1930s timeline, in the 1880s timeline, and the 1860s timeline without having to build a whole new set. But they will need to make it look nicer and slightly different. And I wonder if chopping and changing between sets or versions of Colony House might be difficult for the show. Although I have been told that most of the Colony House scenes are actually filmed in a warehouse, in a set inside there. So maybe they'll have one set for
Hello?
1930s or 1860s where it's all got new paint and different decor and different stuff. We'll see. Hi, Kim. Welcome to the chat.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
It's a little echoey, but I'm gonna mute myself and reduce my volume. Sorry, Realtor. It's your channel. Sorry, I was just trying
No,
to.
no, not at no. You do your thing. Do your thing. We here. We rocking this together. And plus, I know your time is limited with the time difference, and we appreciate you being here. I know everybody. I speak for everybody when we say we're glad you stay up this late to rock with us like this. We appreciate it and we love your scholarship. And when you go on your rants, we're all ears. So,
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Kim, how you doing?
I am awesome. Um,
Great.
okay, you know the symbol, right?
Hmm.
So the symbol has three lines. I call them axes. They're an axis, right? Just like with geometry, you got X, Y, Z, right? There's one line in the middle that's always straight. It's always the same. It never curves or anything. And then on each side of that line, there are two lines that curve and cross. They cross at different points. And sometimes they cross there's all three that cross. So they cross on the same point on the straight line. And sometimes they cross differently. Sometimes they cross each other and cross separately on the line. But I noticed that all the symbols are different. Then the dial, the circle, it looks like a pyramid, a solid pyramid. And I kept wondering, what does this remind me of? And there used to be in the watches, some of the nice watches, you have second hand, an hour, you know what I'm saying, a minute hand. But you also have a rotating dial. And sometimes the dials have symbols or like pyramids. And I don't know if it's a stopwatch, I can't remember. I remember some rotating dials have that. What it looks like to me is it looks like it's some kind of GPS system where you have a location. You got your X, Y, and Z, 3-dimensional, 4, whatever you want to call it. But because this is multidimensional, I'm thinking that there's symbols all along that circle that when it crosses and when it reaches a certain point, it's a certain location time. I think that's what the symbol represents. It represents location. Then you have Father Kachu's meditation space that's got these 7 stones. I believe that if they could recreate that symbol by using people and then something in the middle, they might be able to create a vortex, open a dimension. But I think that's why it happens. It happens. And I think that there's a reason why time is fluid. Usually time is linear. But because it's able to open portals, so you can cross dimensions and all that, I think this is a very sophisticated. I think that the Gould children I noticed that when Jade saw them on the stones, they were bleeding from the eye. They had what appeared to be red rimmed at the bottom of their eye. And there's a drawing that shows their eyes bleeding, one of them, a group of children. And I believe that whatever powers they have power um, this setup or device that's using the tree roots. And I think the tree roots are sentient. I think the trees move because they are aware. And I think that some trees, because they can move, they could do this on their own, but I think there's something that controls all the entity, it controls all of it, all of it. It reminds me of Stephen King's book, The Dark Tower, where you have children who help power this tower that connects to all dimensions. And I think the trees do that. I think that's how they bring people in. I think there's a way out, but they're gonna have to. Jay's gonna have to figure out how to create that symbol, and that's what I wanted to say.
That is some deep thinking. I think it's very interesting. I agree with you. I think the configuration of those three routes, particularly when they all cross at the same point, I think that's relevant. And I think it could be some sort of coordinates based. Maybe it picks what time you go to. Maybe it picks what location you go to. It's definitely something worth considering. I'm thinking along those lines. I just don't have another sort of clue to connect it to, or enough context to connect it to fit into my theory at the moment. So I'm just leaving it be rather than coming up with some solution that doesn't quite have the evidence. But I think you're right, Kim. If somebody asked me, what do you think those three routes mean in terms of how they look in all these different versions, I would agree with you. I think that it's important.
Okay, that's all I
Yeah.
wanted to say, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and leave. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to. Oh, okay. So,
Should be listening.
Okay. So she's still here. Okay. So I agree. I agree. I think that there are two reasons why we see different variations of the symbols. Now we can see here that Jade has started to draw his own symbols because his are a little bit more cruder than Christopher's symbols. However, they seem to be moving. Look at this one right here. Very, very strange right there. This one right here appears this thing is moving around very rapidly. I wonder if at some point that happens and it slows down and then totally just opens up to a hole. And what I think happens is, like I said before, the spiders come down and bite them. Now look at what Jade has done here. And we talked about this as well. He has constructed a witch's ladder. And that's totally it doesn't look just like a witch's ladder. However, it looks like that's what they were trying to point us at. It also reminds me of spider webs. And I think, like I said, the spiders come down out of that hole and bite them children. And that's why their hair falling out and their toenails look like tree bark. And that's what I think's going on there. I think Jade is sitting down thinking about this symbol, visualizing the symbol, obsessing over the symbol. And this alcohol right here is probably not doing him any good. It's probably giving him a little bit of relaxation. Here's a joint over here, you see. So he's
He
definitely
found more rolling papers in the end
yeah.
somehow.
Oh yeah, in the end, somebody I wonder if T and
Someone put
Chen
the
made
on.
some or something.
He's just using toilet paper, just like whatever.
Yeah. He, he
Oh,
using
dear.
Father Kotry's makeshift Bible papers.
Mm.
Like, yeah, he's rolling up. So he's figured it out. But he's definitely coping with something. That's what this picture shows us. He's coping with something. He's gone from breaking the glass, trying to figure out the symbols, to using entire bottles to try to make the symbol. Now he's doing this. Now he's drawing his own symbols. I think that Jade is going to figure some shit out. I think he's definitely going to figure something out. And this is around the time when it's cold out too, because he's got his sweater over top of his shirt here. He's got the cat shirt back on. Yeah. Fiddler is definitely gonna figure it out, guys. He's gonna figure out how this thing works. And we are also going to find out probably who created the talisman and who put them out there. This was someone's contribution to fight the slow walkers. That's the only thing that we know that they work on. And they don't even like work totally on them. I wonder if you take a rope and smack one of them slow walkers upside the head with a talisman, what would happen? Like, would it bust his head open? Like, that's interesting. But yeah, we're gonna find out who has been contributing to the methods of fighting the evil that's trapped in. There are people that have been, this is what I think is happening. I'm thinking, okay, so it starts in Newfoundland and it starts with settlers coming to this landmass. Conflicts arise. Somebody says, you know what? We're going to fight this war with our deities and our magic. We're going to call upon our gods. We're going to do this. And somebody calls upon they open a bottle that they can't close. But they have to figure out a way to trap this entity. So they trap it. And after they trap it, Dieter, shout out to the super chat. Got it. We will get to that. They they figure out how to trap this entity, and others get trapped in with it. This entity probably is able to bring people in based on the blood in the soil, and the blood that is the blood, sweat, and tears that's soaked in every square inch of this country. They're able to tap into that and pull in who they want and need based on their associations, based on their attributes, and based on where they are in time and if they're in the country. I seen somebody made a very valid point. Father Khatri said, I can't remember where I saw this. If I did, I'd give the credit for sure. But someone said you'd only have to carry a Bible in your car and you would never end up in this place because there are no Bibles there. But I thought that was an interesting point. I want to say something too about any ideas for the foghorn in season 1, episode 9. The foghorn, I think, was either the lighthouse or it was a boat. It sounded like a boat. To me, it sounded like a boat's horn.
Well, look, so lighthouses had foghorns historically, so that if there was a ship that was coming close, they could warn it off with the sound, even if it was so foggy that they couldn't see the light spinning around, flashing. That was the point of why lighthouses. Lighthouses were designed to stop ships from running into the shore. So they would flash this light so they'd know where the shore was. That's why they're always on the coast, right? So it's definitely the lighthouse's foghorn. Remember, it looked like a tower, and then Tabitha gets up there, and we realize it's a lighthouse. Okay, and we see the light spinning, so we kind of assume it's a lighthouse already, but we get confirmation. I believe that the lighthouse on the show in the real world is Cape Race Lighthouse. I'm certain of it. But it was funny. In season 1, people were saying that's Heimdall's horn. Heimdall from Norse mythology. Heimdall, who Idris Elba plays, who protects the Rainbow Bridge. And they're like, look, there's so much Norse symbology on the show. Look, we got Jim hanging upside down, like from like Odin. Odin was hung upside down from a tree. Jim sort of hangs upside down, and then he's up a tree at a later date. That girl. God, I keep forgetting her name. The girl with the eye patch. Odin has an eye patch. She's got
Carla.
a missing eye.
Is her name Carla?
I think it might be Carla. Yeah. And so I dismissed it. I dismissed it. I thought that Vikings were the red herring of the show. I thought the Vikings were like, oh, we're gonna make people think it's Vikings, and then we're gonna show you it's not Vikings at the end. So I was so dismissive, but they were right. In the Norse timeline, Heimdall is one of the characters. The being that is playing the role of Heimdall is now using Tilly as its avatar, by the way, and it's
Mhm.
where all the goat symbolism comes from. And Heimdall's horn is one of the artifacts that is passed across time, and ends up with someone. So yeah, it is also technically a clue to Heimdall's horn, in my opinion. And we'll see if I'm right. We'll see if you meet Heimdall in season 5 of From, or more likely season 6.
Okay, her name is Clara.
Clara, that was it.
I
Yeah.
know it was something like that. Yeah,
Yes, it's
Clara or
Clara.
Carla or
Clara.
yeah,
Clara, I think it is.
eye patch
It's pronounced
lady.
Clara.
She's not seeing no Clara. I tell you that. Anyway, sorry for the dad joke, y'all. But yeah,
You didn't hear me laugh because I was muted again.
I'm over here with the dad joke. Yeah, so I agree. I wouldn't be mad if it was a boat. Um, I I'm I'm thinking we will see a boat at some point. Um, but yeah, the lighthouse definitely works. It makes sense actually. We hear it in episode 9, and then it's revealed that it was the lighthouse in episode 10. Um, what's good? What's good, Robert? Robert's in the building. Was he in here? Robert's in the building. Dr. Deb is in the building. Miss T is in the building. T-Ville is in the building.
I think
Yes,
Mr.
indeed.
Robert was in here and then he left.
Okay.
Oh, I see. It's because Jeremy of Ice and Fire is doing his own stream right now, so a lot of people are leaving to watch that one.
Okay. That's
Well, not a
cool.
lot, but some people who have been on his channel longer, and they've come to visit. I posted in Jeremy's chat to let people know you were streaming, so I guess they're returning. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff on From. I can't wait to see season 3. We will see who has guessed the most correctly. We will see if I get accused of having some sort of relationship with the creators and a close friendship, and I'm just leaking information because no one's guessing it or something. That's what some people are going to say. I can tell already. The good thing is, anything anyone asks me about how I knew, I will have an answer because I really did use clues to come to my conclusions. So
Okay.
I will
So
never ever be caught out by anyone who says, "How did you guess that?" I will
my
always know
my
the
thoughts
answer.
on that is this. This is my thoughts on that.
Go on.
There's some people that are going to not want to admit that you were right and that you figured it out. So they'll have to have some kind of like, yeah, he knows the show writer, he's a professional author, he probably's plugged in with the people that write the show. They're gonna make all those kind of excuses. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of things right as well. And
Mhm.
and I've already gotten those types of comments. This guy must write for the show. I'm unsubbing. He's saying stuff, and I'm like, really? Like, some people. I look at my like to dislike ratio, and I'm always like 98%, 99%. So I ain't worried about the naysayers and the haters.
Of course.
The funny thing is, you and I have been showing people literally how we're doing the research, and what is pleasing to me is that a lot of people have joined in and started looking at the show in the same way we're looking at the show. So I think that's beautiful. And I think that when it's all said and done and the show is over, they'll look at you and I material and say like, wow, these dudes were on it. Like these dudes were definitely on it. Yeah.
Do you think we'll be 50-50?
Yes. I think
You
we'll
think
be I think we'll be either 50-50 or there'll be a real big plot twist that our theory will then sit inside of that. But I think everything is kind of sitting inside of our style of looking at the show right now.
I agree with that totally. I do. But my question was like, do you think that like your like 50% of your theory will be right, 50% of my theory will be right?
Hmm.
Do you think we'll be even Stevens?
I think both of us will get more than 50% right because you're looking at this show and figuring out this in a ways that I am not, and I'm figuring out this in ways that you are not. And so
Mhm,
I think
mhm,
we'll get more than 50% because um there's like an intersection point, you know, of
mhm,
where our theories kind of connect and come together. There's and as of late, we've been noticing a lot of them actually.
mhm. Real,
Like,
may I ask you a question?
mhm.
If in season 3 we meet like 40 historical figures, will you change your approach to solving the show?
It wouldn't change my approach. It
So
wouldn't
you
change.
wouldn't spend
No.
time trying to figure out more historical figures than you are now?
Well, the thing about it is my way of looking at it is more of the esoterica that
Mhm,
lead to it. And your way of looking at it, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Your way of looking at it is more of actual events and archetypes.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? Now, my theory about our theories is I think we'll get most of the historical stuff in a montage where we have the big bad explaining the shit and kind of breaking it down, or somebody that's really trapped there that's been there for a long time that is kind of good. Like because like we said, good is not black and white on this show at all. Like, Sarah might get a whole redemption arc. You know what I'm saying? We never know, right?
Oh, she's
So
definitely getting one. She's gonna I mean, look, she killed her brother by accident, but she was trying to murder Ethan, but the circumstances are pretty, uh, forgiving, I would say, in that, you know, she had a voice inside her head threatening her and controlling her, and,
okay,
interestingly, in the original script for From, Megan is kind of bewitched rather than being really dumb. Which I thought was
okay,
kind of I thought that was kind of interesting, and I wonder why they changed that. Maybe they thought that that sort of took away personally, I think that that would have if they had included that, it would have taken away a little bit from the horror of it, because there's no more like it's just like, oh, if they decide to kill someone, they just talk in their head and make them do it, so it takes away some of the tension, you know? So that'll be interesting too. Alright, it's
okay.
4:30 now, pretty much. So I should go to bed. It is the weekend, but, I know my dad's gonna be up early tomorrow and wanna go do stuff. Real, once again, I thank you for allowing me on your channel. I will eventually launch my own YouTube channel and do a few videos. They will be nowhere near as good as your production quality. They'll mostly be me running some photos from season 3 for a PowerPoint presentation, and just talking. And maybe I'll host some lives and maybe I'll get like 15 people to come and listen to me talking
Yeah,
nonsense.
right.
Well, I'll tell you what, actually, real. If in season 3, I guess like if 90% of my thing about what will happen in season 3 is correct, and the stuff that I'm not correct about, will probably happen in season 4, in my opinion, some of it. Um, then I think people will wanna hear what I have to say more. I think people like Tony will invite me on the show. Like, if they see Bigfoot on the show, Tony and Phil are gonna be like, come on the show," because I told them Bigfoot's coming, and they just laughed at me, and they just thought it was they just were like, "No, you're crazy. That's coming completely out of left field." And it will. It will look completely out of left field. But it'll freak everyone out. And you know what's funny, Real? You know that we've been going through the Instagram emojis recently. There are so many monkey and gorilla emojis hidden.
Yes, I
It's
did see
really
that,
interesting.
even within the comment section.
Yeah, because they comment the clues on each other's pictures sometimes as well with the emojis, which I find really funny. It's like I don't know if you know this, but eggs are a major clue on the show, and it's so funny how they get eggs in. Like one of them went to like a modern art museum and took a picture next to a giant egg, and then everyone commented on that. So they know. I guess they all have the same set of symbols to share, and then like I think they get a unique one each. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Maybe a couple of unique ones, just to not make it too easy for us. Um, and yeah, I found it tends to be when one of them does like a big effort to take a picture with one of the symbols that's not just an emoji. It's like an actual like physical picture of the thing. And the berries. I mean, the way they get the berries in is kind of funny. A lot of them just make smoothies with them. Or some of them, like, they go out and, like, try and pick wild berries and stuff, but, they all try and get the berries in because it's quite an easy thing to sort of slip into your stuff. Um, and real, just do me one favor while we're on the stream. You don't need to flash it up on the screen. In fact, don't flash it up on the screen, but have a look at the Google Doc that we're working on, because I've been adding to it. Have a little look at it.
I was when I came home, I was sitting there and I just saw the thing moving. I said, "Holy shit!"
How many we
And
got, man? 1, 2,
oh yeah, we're in there. I saw you had some emojis in there. You must got rid of them.
15, 16, 17, 18,
Oh no,
19.
you sent the emojis on WhatsApp. Am I right?
28, man. 28 we've got already. Sorry, no one's gonna understand what we're talking about. We have to speak in code a little bit.
I'm gonna put all these emojis in there real quick.
Oh yeah, yeah. So real, the reason why the emojis aren't being pasted into Google Doc is that Google Doc doesn't recognize like a fifth of them, annoyingly.
Word?
Yeah, it doesn't have them. I don't know
They're in
why.
there now.
I know, but they when you paste them, they turn some of them into like the gender symbols.
Oh really? If you
Yeah.
see it, if you can see the Google Doc now,
I'm
you'll
looking
see.
at it now. It's done the exact same thing it did when I posted in there.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
guys. Sorry, this is probably not that interesting to you. So
Yeah, I know.
we'll have to put it on Discord and let everyone else join in.
Ooh, yes.
I think it would be great if we all collaborated. So guys, do you mind if I invite everyone to join us, Real?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Guys, if so Real and I have realized that the emojis that the actors on the show are playing, and some of the ones that are coming up, is all I'll say, are also sharing these emojis. And we're gonna compile them all into one master document so that everyone has access to the emojis and they know what the clues on the show are to look out for. And we're gonna have to be selective, Real, because sometimes they put emojis in there that are just normal ones. So we can't just take every emoji that they've posted. We need to look for when they like do like 4 of them in a row.
And this
And
is something that you definitely want to tap into because that's not even the real kicker of what we're showing you here.
yeah,
We
maybe you'll notice it on your own if you look.
maybe
Actually,
you'll notice it on your own. Exactly.
I
There's
think
a
they will. I think they will.
yeah, we've said a
Please.
lot tonight for real.
Yeah.
If they were listening.
But that's cool. I mean, to be fair, if they discover it on their own, that's fine because
That's
I no
fine.
longer
Because I prefer
think it's a
that.
problem. I no longer think it's a problem. I just don't want someone getting to it first while we're trying to do it properly. You know what I mean?
Right. That's cool. That's
So
right.
yeah. So everyone, um, what Real and I are gonna do, we're gonna create a channel in Real's Discord called Emojis, if that's cool with you, Real. And then
Yes.
we will post the emojis in that we come across into Discord as we find them. And then eventually we will copy and paste them all into one big post with all the emojis that the actors are sharing. So if you guys want to help us, please go on the actors' Instagrams. Go back as far as when season 1 came out, because that's when they started posting them. And you will find the emojis there. They're usually in like batches of 3 or 4. There's stuff like disco balls, apples, berries, eggs. There's a lot of evil eye symbols. Did you notice all the evil eye symbols everywhere, Real?
All over the place.
Yeah, and the disco ball, right? Like, that's the most obvious one for me, the disco ball is crazy.
Yes. Okay, so that invite link I just posted in there is the new one. It'll last for 7 days. Go hop on in there. Y'all can the mods can copy and paste that in there. Let's get some people in there. If you really want to see what we got cooking with these emojis, you definitely want to be in there because there's a bigger aspect to that whole thing that you're going to see in our video later.
You know what, Real? I'm starting to think we should get it out sooner because I think someone else will get to it first if we don't do it. So we'll work on it. We'll work on that the next like
We can
5
work on
days.
both of them simultaneously because we got the one with you probably already started working on yours. I will be working on mine as soon as I get off this live stream, actually, which
Uh,
is my season 3 prediction.
oh yeah, the season 3 prediction. Yeah, I mean that we should. That's fine actually. The season 3 predictions, we're not in a rush for it. We just need to get it out before season 3, right?
Mhm.
But the thing that we're talking about, that one I think we should prioritize a little bit because
Yo, this is a good question here. I don't know if this means anything. This will be, they have stressed on From that there's not much paper to draw on. You know, Kenny. I remember Kenny getting pissed off at Jay for drawing in his book.
Yes, I know exactly what that means, by the way, but yeah,
Okay,
you want
so
to
all right, so you're picking up what I'm putting down.
yeah,
Peep that
100%.
Jade has found a clean book to draw his own symbols in. This is very
Yeah,
significant.
I think he found it in Victor's room, if I remember correctly, but maybe I'm making it up. But I think
I don't know.
he
Maybe a clean. I don't think he got a clean book out of Victor's room. Victor's reduced to drawing on newspaper right now.
is he really, huh?
Yep,
Mhm.
he was reduced to that
Yeah.
newspaper. He had newspaper and some sort of paper that had like writing already on it. That's the last stuff he was coloring on.
Mhm. Mhm.
He used his last clean sheet of paper when they showed us him coloring like I think it might have been like early in season 1 where they showed us him coloring. I think he used his last clean piece of paper.
Mhm.
But the fact that Jade has his own book with these symbols means something. I wonder if it's the same book with empty clean pages on it.
I don't know, man. I have to go, but I just wanna very quickly tell you what I think it means. Um, in the origin story of Fromland, in the John Cabot timeline, there is like a red-skinned book that has been passed down from all the other timelines, and it's ended up in Newfoundland. And the famous memoirist Philip de Comines, who's a Burgundian, who's very close friends with John Cabot, who's been sent to keep an eye on him by Philip the Handsome of Burgundy and Maximilian the First of the Holy Roman Empire. So he's been sent to keep an eye on John Cabot. He wants to write about what's happening in Fromland, but he doesn't have any paper, so he writes in this red diary in the margins. And that is what I think Stephen King will end up giving to Tabitha in season 4.
Yo, that's crazy.
And
And
if
I'm not
if they
mad
get
at
that
the
right,
idea of those. Yeah, okay, so some of the characters I think will actually be there, and
mhm.
some of them I think will be in some sort of montage.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the all the timelines up until 15 up until the 1506 timeline will be time travel. And then
Okay,
I
let me
think
ask you this before you go real
yeah,
quick. One
sure.
quick question. Would
Mhm.
it be kind of lame if they like spread these timelines out? Or would it be interesting? Or would it be lame or interesting if they gave it all to us in a montage while they had like some explanation going on, some verbal explanation going on?
Well, look, they've got let me see if I can count.
That's how we got to think about that aspect.
That is how
Shout
I
out to
think about
Sweet
it.
Pea 1776. Thank you for the $2 super chat. What she says, Philip the Handsome. Oh boy, why would these major personalities be on the show? I'm lost. Yo,
So, in brief, Sweet Pea, the main character of the John Cabot timeline is a princess, Tudor princess, Yorkist princess called Bridget of York, who was a nun who, according to legend, became pregnant gave birth to a baby, and then no one really knows what happened to her. I believe that on the show, Bridget of York, she escapes from the nunnery and she goes to Newfoundland. And the reason I say this is, and the reason that Philip the Handsome is involved is because there was a pretender to the throne called Perkin Warbeck. And Perkin Warbeck said that he was this prince, um, Richard of Shrewsbury, who had a claim to the throne, a better claim to the throne than Henry VII, who was the King of England at the time. So he led a rebellion, and this rebellion failed, and he was trapped in the Tower of London. And Philip the Handsome was a rival of Henry VII, and he was related to Richard, and to this prince. So I think he pays John Cabot, who was part of a secret order called the Order of St. John the Evangelist of Death, to break Perkin Warbeck out of the Tower of London. And it's Philip the Handsome that pays John Cabot's secret order to do this. There's literally going to be an Ocean's 11 style breakout from the Tower of London in 1498 on the show. I can't wait for everyone to see it. I'm absolutely certain it's going to happen, and it's going to be amazing. So that's my answer to that question.
Oh, okay. She was pretty much talking about Stephen King.
Oh,
She
right.
said she meant Stephen King.
Oh, okay.
Stephen, I'm totally on board with that one. I can see that because Stephen King has actually portrayed himself in several TV shows and movies before. So
Yes, he has.
and
Yes,
he was one of the first big heads to shout from out for real. I mean, he's a god in the genre.
Mhm.
Um, you know,
Yeah, and
he
do you know what Stephen King's wife's name is?
what's her name?
Tabitha.
Yeah. See,
Uh,
I could
I'm telling, and do
Tabitha
you know he
King.
released a series of books called the Red Leather Editions?
That's crazy. What do you think about Mary Shelley?
She's gonna be I've sent you my I'm gonna send you this again. Just if you want to get it up on the screen. I'm done with this. I can't do any more solving um of the artifacts being passed across time. It just takes too much time, and I'm doing it all on my own. But I'm gonna share it with you here on WhatsApp, and you're welcome to share it on your screen. Um I don't know if it's easy for you to do that. So
Okay.
in From, there are these objects that are passed from Leonardo da Vinci
Yo, this is
all the
crazy.
way down to through all of these historical figures, influencing their work, making them successful, making them succeed, giving them crazy dreams, and then they end up with these people. And I promise you this, guys, none of you will believe me until you see Stephen King or Stephen Fry on the show. But you can literally trace a path on Wikipedia from Leonardo da Vinci to Stephen King, Stephen Fry. Who's that director that did all the like horror
Is
stuff?
Mary Shelley in here?
She's somewhere in there, I think. If she isn't, she should be in there somewhere. I can't get everyone. It's very difficult to do this. It's a very time consuming. Um, Frankly, it got to the point where I could just guess who the end person is going to be and then work backwards a little bit and then stop, because I don't need to go all the way back to Leonardo da Vinci. I just need to prove that they're the final person in the chain. But I guarantee you on Wikipedia, every single one of these people has clues in the keywords and emoji clues, the symbols on the show, and phrases used in the dialogue connect to every single one of these people. It's absolutely fascinating how they've done it. Maybe I have pareidolia. Maybe I've got like a serious condition where I think I'm seeing connections where they don't exist. But it's actually been pretty amazing where I'm like, oh my god, this person's gonna know this person. I can just tell. And then you go on Wikipedia and there it is. They knew that person. It's super fascinating. Um, it's so the final. That's why they mentioned Giacometti. He's one of them. Yeah. So Tim Burton is at the end of one of these chains. Stan Lee and various comic book people are part of this chain.
So you're
You know?
saying that throughout time, these artifacts were passed around and it helped them be successful in
Yes.
their time periods. Here's Stan Lee right here.
Yeah. Yeah. And Stephen Fry is one of the main people. I actually think
Okay.
because Stephen Fry did the Harry Potter audiobooks, um, Stephen Fry, he does a lot of audio work. He's got a very calm voice, and I think he might narrate the origin story of John Cabot to explain what's going
Okay,
on.
so
They need a
not so
really good
everybody's
narrator.
so everybody's not so lost. I asked him about Mary Shelley, who's the creator of Frankenstein, right?
Hmm.
And Mary Shelley knew Lord Byron. Lord Byron was a guy who created the Order of the Skull.
Hmm.
And one day his gardener found a human skull that
Yeah.
was of a monk, of the skull of a monk. And he turned it into a drinking cup.
Yes. I
And
I was I was the one who told you that. I don't know if you remember.
no, I told you.
No,
Yeah.
maybe it was you who told me.
Yeah, I
Hang on.
told you that. Yeah, go back and look in our
The
messages.
skull. Let
I
me see.
I put you on to Lord Byron.
You might have been the one, you know. You might have been the one. Let's see. Here
And
we go.
yeah, Lord Byron, he knew Mary Shelley. As a matter of fact, when her husband died, he asked her for his skull, if he could use his skull and turn it into a drinking cup. And of course, she told his ass no. No, you can't use my husband's skull. What the hell you talking about? Use my husband's skull. Boy, if you don't
Mhm.
get your ass from around here with that. She went off on homie. Like according to actual historic record, like she really went off on homie about that. But
Um, you know what? You did mention Byron first. Um, I think you did put me on. I mean, I already had him for the blunt Stradivarius violin,
okay,
which is made using Odysseus's bowstring. But I
okay,
don't think I connected the skull to him until you mentioned it to me. So
okay. Here you have
I
Lord
didn't do
Byron
that.
here.
Yeah, yeah, he's there. So he's the one who ends up with the blunt Stradivarius.
Yes, and I think that also connects to the skull and crossbones here in America. The skull and crossbones, the order of the skull and crossbones, because
Mhm.
it just totally speaks to why these Puritans were using that at every graveyard, like on their headstones. And you had to be
Yeah,
someone of importance to be able to put the skull and crossbones on your headstone. They didn't just let anybody put it on there.
interesting.
It was like it's
Mhm.
so something with the skull and crossbones there. Then you have the memento mori. Then you actually have we see a guy dressed like a Puritan from the 17th century drinking from a skull. Then we see one of Eloise's paintings in the basement. So yeah, these things are valid, y'all. I'm telling you. Now, this is where Taran and I we don't agree on everything, and that's good. That's okay.
But I think these paths that I'm describing to you, these paths that you see here, my theory is that we will actually see part of this in season 3, potentially. Unless Tabitha meets her mom in the last episode, we will see the beginnings of this Da Vinci quest. I think it'll just jump from Leonardo to Erasmus, and then it's going to cut, and it'll be season 4 and season 5. But we'll see. I don't know. All I do know is that season 5 is when we learn the Cabot story, and then season 6 is when we learn like the deep history of From with the like Greek mythology and the Eden stuff. So season 4 would probably be the lead up to meeting Stephen Fry and Stephen King before when they start
Mhm.
reading the diary. Um, so yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go, but I do appreciate your time, Real, and I appreciate everyone else's time as well. There was
Yes,
just
indeed.
one last thing I wanted to say, but I'm blanking what it was. It was a topic that we were discussing just now. Stephen King, The Diary. No, I've lost it. I've lost it. But in any case, yeah. This if real, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
If at the end of season 3, this scene occurs, okay, Tabitha walks into a university and her mom is there lecturing about Leonardo da Vinci in a dark room with a slideshow. And then we figure out that Eloise is Tabitha's mom in that scene. If you see that Leonardo da Vinci presentation, would you think that that this spreadsheet is correct and we will literally see?
That's what I was. Okay, so yeah, all right, so yeah, I will. I'll just tell you that straight off the rip. I will.
Yeah.
I will still hang on to the ideal that they will give us a montage and breeze through all of this.
Yeah,
I
some of them will
don't.
be breezed through for sure.
All
Some of
right,
them
so
will
let
be
me
breezed
ask you this then. Equally short question. Do you
Mhm.
think all these names that I have up on the screen right now are going to be actual characters on the show?
No, these are just gonna be mentioned as Eloise and Tabitha trace the path of these artifacts, and I don't even think I mean, I got this path through Wikipedia. They're not gonna follow this path. I think there's gonna be a secret order leaving Eloise and Tabitha clues, and they're
Mhm.
gonna follow the clues, and it's gonna follow this path, but they're gonna skip a whole bunch of people. You might see their names written down, like, in the book when they finally find the first book. You might even have the person at the end of the chain mentioning some of the people who had this artifact in the past, like Liz Taylor's earrings, they might mention a few things.
Okay.
Um
Now I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you one thing about the artifact.
Mhm.
One of your artifacts is gonna be either a knife or a key.
Yeah, there will be a key. A key is one of the clues on the show. There's a lot of emojis related to keys.
Yeah, I
So and
know. I
locks,
saw that.
padlocks. So I agree with you
Lots.
there.
Yes.
And what was
The
the other one? A
artifacts.
key?
There's a special key for Frumlin, and there's a special place to use that key as well.
You might you might be totally right about that. I think you
Oh,
could be right. It may be the key
100%.
it may be the key that allows them to return to Fromland. Wow, I wish I'd thought of that. Alright, that's your theory, Real. You gotta take that one. That was all that's all you.
Okay,
You got
so
that.
your theory is that it helps them get back to Frumlin, but I'm thinking that it's going to be a place in Frumlin that the key is going to be
Yeah.
used. To and the reason why we talk about Boyd with the key, with the boat key, we've already
Yeah,
talked about. Yo,
yeah.
well, you know what, bro? I'm not going to keep you up till 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning. It's almost going to be 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
We appreciate your
Alright.
time, brother. As always, we're gonna do a Wednesday stream together. We might record something before then. Who knows?
Mhm.
But Wednesday we can get on earlier in the day. That way, it's at a more reasonable time for you. I know everybody here will love to hop on there. We got 80 something people in here right now
Oh,
enjoying the stream. If
nice.
y'all enjoying the stream, drop a cash app, hit or drop a super chat, give some memberships, and it's going towards our trip that Taran and I are going to Newfoundland. We will be going there and live streaming while the show is actually airing, and we're going to have a great time with that, doing some live streams, hopping up on camera, showing you some artifacts, showing you where we are. On our drives, we'll be live streaming, we'll be playing some music, hanging out in the Discord, doing many different things, like the same how we try to keep in contact here. We'll be doing that while we're on our trip. So if you want to see
Yeah.
that happen, show some love in the Cash App or drop a super chat. It all goes to the same place.
Real, one last thing. Would you be willing to do a watch party with me on the episode that Jim and Kenny go through the bottle tree?
So okay, yes. So you think they're going through the bottle tree? Now here's a whole nother conversation. My argument with that is, I don't think that two people can go through the bottle tree and end up in the same place.
Well, if they're holding hands like the kids are, maybe they do.
That's a great point. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
That would be the only way I can say that two people will end up in the same place.
Yeah,
Now
I think they hold
that will
hands.
take a lot of information coming from Boyd and Sarah and Victor about the bottle tree for them to even try to attempt, like, because why would you hold another man's hand getting in the tree hole? You know what I mean? Unless you know what's about to happen, you know?
Mhm. By the way, Real, I think that's how Eloise gets Miranda's bracelet, is that they're holding hands, they're about to go through the tree, Eloise falls through, and Miranda gets left behind.
Okay, so you heard this one here first. This is one of my theories. I believe that Victor's memories are inaccurate, and I think it was his sister that had the bracelet on.
Okay. Well, anyway, look, so basically my reason for asking you that question, sorry to cut you off, I just, I know we're gonna end up talking again, is the reason I asked you that is because I think people would love to see my reaction when the first historical figures start popping up on the show.
Oh yeah, they would love to
Me
see
screaming my
mine
head
too.
off. I'm gonna
Oh
be screaming
yeah,
my head off, being like,
I,
I told you Caroline Dye was gonna show up. There's OK Ito right there in her kimono. There's Ellis Falls.
there's
There's Nathan
Crazy
Morris.
Horse.
There's Crazy Horse. Yeah. If I get all
There's
that, can you imagine
Bigfoot.
my reaction?
Dieter became a member of the Magnified Posse. What's going on? Yes. Everybody drop some emojis for the new member. Let's salute the new member on the team. He's riding with us.
Hmm. All right, man. I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks for the chats. Thanks everyone.
Absolutely.
Bye,
Peace.
dudes.
Yeah, Taran is dope, y'all. Yo, shout out to Taran. It's almost 5 in the morning where he's at, and he's taking the time out to show some love, come through, drop some scholarship, build back and forth, go on a couple dope, super dope rants explaining his theory. I think I think a lot of people were kind of lost in the sauce with Terran's theory because it's a lot and it's in depth. However, these last few lives and stuff, he's really been able to get it out and articulate to the people, where he's coming from, where he's starting from, and where he's going with his theory. I think his theory is dope. I think it's full of great scholarship. I love history. I love the esoteric vibes. I love all of that. And that's why we match like we do with our theories. I think we'll both get a little bit more than 50% right. Uh Between the two of us, as far as 100%, I know he's gonna say that he's gonna get more than me. So I'm just gonna say that I think I'm gonna get more right than 10. It's I know that he's gonna say that he's got it all figured. I'm gonna say I got it all figured. I don't know if I have it all figured, but I think I'm getting pretty close. Definitely with these latest developments. We got developments that we haven't even dropped yet or talked about. We get on the stream, and before we actually went live today, we pretty much said what we weren't gonna say. And there's some developments. Y'all gonna think we in touch with these people, yo. When we drop some of this shit and you see the shit that we talking about on the show, y'all gonna think we in touch with these people. Some of this stuff is undeniable. Undeniable. The last live stream I think I showed y'all. I don't know if I showed it to y'all. This might have been on Discord, but I was sharing my screen on Discord. Hold on, let me see. And when I was sharing my screen on Discord, I noticed that there was another parallel between Julie and Tabitha. Now, before I even go there, hold on. Talk about this guy real quick. But before I even go there, we I seen Carrie say earlier that that the most important female on the show is Julie. I don't I can agree with you to a certain extent. I definitely think she's one of the most important females on the show. But I also think that Tabitha, Julie, and Ethan mirror Miranda, Eloise, and Victor. I think that that's a whole mirror right there. And I definitely agree with you on Julie being important, because if you guys know my theory, I think that Julie is how Tabitha makes contact with Frumlin once again. I think she makes it with Julie. I think she makes contact with Julie. Now let's see if I could find these little bits that I found earlier. I think I took screenshots of them to show you guys. Well, I wanted y'all to pretty much notice that when Victor was saving Julie in Colony House, when she was in his room in Colony House, he put the drawings over her shoulder. He had them tied to a rope and he put them over her shoulder. He put the drawings over her right shoulder. When Tabitha was going to get in the bottle tree, in the faraway tree, he took the lunchbox, which has a rope on it as well, and he put that over her left shoulder. And it's just like how when Julie went up with Fatima and Fatima pulled the curtain to the right, and Julie went to go look at the moon, this moon right here. She went to go look at the moon. There's the diner down there. And we saw her pull the curtain to the right. And when Tabitha was in the hospital, she pulls the curtain to the left so that she can look at the sun. I think that was a mirroring aspect of the relationship between the mother and the daughter. We see the same thing going on with the mother and the daughter, Eloise and Miranda. Eloise pretty much chases and follows after her mom, ends up being the one that actually gets out. This is a head scratcher right here. If anybody knows what this is, let me know. I've been trying to figure this one out. Does anybody know what the original picture of that is, of who that is or whatever? But I've been trying to figure that out. This is a picture that's in Colony House hanging up on the wall by where Ethan's bed was, where he was laying down. I've been trying to figure that one out. That's a head scratcher, but I think that means something actually. It looks like a Puritan woman actually. Kind of looks like a Puritan. And her fingers look crazy. She looks like kind of like a slow walker. And besides the obvious, someone, colored on her. She looks crazy a little bit. Her head looks turned in the wrong direction. Let's see here. What y'all saying in these comments? We're going to get out of here in a little bit. Does anybody want to come up and build? I'll put the link down here for y'all, and the mods can reciprocate the link out there. Uh-oh. I don't know if that came through good. But if anybody wants to come up and build, the floor is open. Before we leave, we've been live for a few hours here. Had a real dope build with Taran. She says she can definitely see that. Carrie says, I can definitely see that real with the family being a mirror. Minus the dad inside Frumlin. Okay, so here's the thing with that. They were on the breakup. They were about to get divorced. What if Miranda was leaving Victor's father with the kids? What if she was taking the kids and leaving or something happened? Part of my theory is that Victor's father was blamed for the disappearance of his family, He has a hard time with that, and then all of a sudden his daughter shows back up. She's talking some wild shit about a place where they're stuck there with monsters coming out at night, and her mom, she done went through a bottle tree, and she's putting bottles in the tree and painting wild paintings. And I think they try to get her some help, and nobody believes her, or her father might be the only person that believes her, but somebody steps in to try to take her away from him, you know. Yeah, so like those are the things that's kind of how my theory starts off. And I'm not gonna write out a whole theory like how I write in my videos. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go to valuable plot changing points through the whole thing. Things that I feel like are definitely going to happen. Taran's uh eclipse theory is going to be in mine, and I'm gonna give him credit for that. And vice versa. There's some things that he said that I put him on to that he's going to give me credit for. Yeah, if you want to hop on, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. We got about a half hour we can build. I do have some mixing that I have to do. I might hop in the Discord while I'm mixing some music, y'all, after this. I will be starting on my theory tonight. I have to just mix this record that I started mixing. Y'all could come on in there and listen. I don't know. See, I'm telling you, sometimes you might catch me in there editing a video. You might catch me in there making beats. You might catch me in there mixing music. You might catch me in there doing some artwork for my thumbnail. There's no telling what I'm going to be in there doing. So if you ever want to come check me out, hang out, what happens is if I'm in there making music, people generally come in there and listen for about 2 or 3 minutes. I cut the music off and we start talking and building, talking about the show, coming up with some really great points. I'm starting to not even remember if it was a live stream or if I was on the Discord with somebody. And so if I repeat myself on these live streams, hey, that's the truth doesn't change, right? So I'm just keep saying what I'm saying. Somebody said, "Do you ever sleep?" Yes, I do. I do. I sleep like uh I take I take little breaks and naps when I can. Like at nighttime but then I'll have to get up around maybe 12 or 1 sometimes and do some studio stuff. Um or I might catch a nap in the daytime after work, you know what I'm saying? Get done with my work and I'll bust a nap real quick and hop back up and get right back to it. I like to spend time with my young. Uh, we play, we do all kinds of stuff. We wrestle, we read, we talk. Very close to my children. There, why I do everything, and yeah. But I also have time for this. I also have time for the Frumily. Um, I love theorizing with you guys. I think that I have probably been on the YouTube scene long enough now to where the tribe is complete. The tribe is here. The people that think in the same way or enjoy my videos, or at least we can have agree to disagree about things, I think are over here on my channel. I think, my numbers are starting to speak for themselves. I love you guys for coming through. I love you guys for the support to the channel. I want to do more so that I can show you where I go with this scholarship. We're definitely going to start doing some more shows, but I'm going to be honest with you. The research and everything that's going on for the From stuff has been very time consuming. Um, From is something there's just 2 seasons and we're still going through stuff, finding clues, right? That's to show you that this show is going to be interactive with its audience long after it's gone. And today's day and age, when you have YouTubers making shows and everybody doing commentary about people's shows, you want to create your show and you want it to be interactive. You don't want people to just watch it and not be able to talk about it afterwards. People are still making videos about Game of Thrones. People are still making videos about Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Star Wars, yeah. So this is something that is very interactive. And I think that the people that flock to this channel look at the show in different ways. And I think that we all bring some good mind jogging theories, some logic. And I'm gonna go through some of these comments real quick. Julie B just entered into the building. Let's put her on the stage. How you doing, Julie? Let me go through some of these comments. Can you hear me, Julie? Give Julie a couple seconds to get her mic and stuff right.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I
Awesome.
can.
Yeah, I was
How are
muted.
you?
I'm okay. How are you?
All is well. All is well. Let's see here. I'm gonna run through some of these comments. You can what's on your mind? Tell us what's on your mind.
There are a couple of things I've been looking at the last couple of days, just trying to look at clues for what we could expect for next season. And one of the things on cannibalism, I really hope that it's not going to go there, but there is a clue that they actually have in the very first episode of the whole series that suggests it might go there, or there might be some kind of reference to cannibalism coming up. Maybe, I don't know if they're going to find people. I personally don't think that they're going to find people who are actually cannibals, like in that village. I don't believe that, but I mean, you never know. No, wait a minute. I'm looking for my... sorry, trying to find my phone because I have... Oh, there it is. I Googled the book that Kenny and Christy are reading in episode 1, and they keep referring to it more than once in season 1. Like, they're sharing this book. They'll check in with each other every now and then, like, hey, have you, what do you think of the book? Blah, blah, blah. Like, and then I looked up the book, and it's called The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket by Edgar Allan Poe. And what's interesting, well, there are a few things that are interesting. Edgar Allan Poe, he's also the author of the quote that was on the chalkboard above Toby's bed from The Raven. And this particular book, I looked it up, and the synopsis says, published in 1838, this rousing sea adventure follows New England boy Pym, who stows away on a whaling ship with its captain's son, Augustus. The two boys repeatedly find themselves on the brink of death or discovery and witness many terrifying events, including mutiny, cannibalism, and frantic pursuits. Now, this is obviously a bit different. It's not a ship, but the interesting thing is it mentions cannibalism. There are characters who are constantly on the brink of death or discovery, and you could describe that. Could easily describe the characters in this show. They're always on the brink of either death or trying to discover clues. And the mutiny aspect, that could be you could see something like a coup happening in Colony House over the lack of food, no longer listening to leadership. There could be people rising up against Donna, against Boyd, and then hopefully not cannibalism, but I mean, it is in this book, so it's something to think about. And the interesting thing too about it is the cover of the book. that Kenny and Christy are looking at, I looked it up and I haven't been able to find any edition of the book that looks like that. They made one specifically for this show. It has a lighthouse on it. Every single cover I've looked at online has a ship. Ships, water. This one has a lighthouse. So if they went out of their way to make a special cover of this book for this show, I think it was deliberate. And I think everything that we see in this show is deliberate. So it was planted there as a clue, in my opinion. So, like,
okay, so yeah. I'm gonna say this. I hope they don't. I mean, the residents are the ones who are starving.
Yeah.
The residents are the ones who are starving. How long will it take a person to go hungry before they go ahead and eat a hamburger, a human hamburger? A human burger.
I think it would take some time. So, maybe, since there's such a short duration of time passing with each season, we're going to see them getting restless, getting panicky about it. But hopefully they'll make some kind of breakthrough and it won't turn to cannibalism, because you make a good point. I mean, maybe they won't get that far. If the season is less than 10 days in duration, I mean, every episode, sometimes it's even less than a day. It could be a day or just a night. So, maybe they'll make some kind of breakthrough this season. Maybe they'll be on the brink of cannibalism. Some of them might be contemplating it. If anyone would, it would be Dale. But he'd be eyeing poor Clara over there, like, oh, she looks pretty good.
She got a lot of meat on her bones.
Right.
He already tried to slice Ellis's ribs.
Right.
I mean, but here's the other thing, right? Y'all starving. A massacre happens, and you got all these people laid out in the road looking like a Happy Hog rib shack. You know what I'm saying? Like, does somebody say, hey, let's cook these ribs. Let's just go ahead and get the bonfire going and cook the meat. I mean, because think about it, right? If y'all hungry enough, y'all better, I mean, the slow walker done slaughtered the cow for you. So now y'all could just go ahead and skin him up and start eating. I mean, I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, if they killed us, if they kill the meat, it ain't like you can't preserve it or do something to it or something. Like,
very true.
I mean, we eat beef jerky for the next 3 months or something. I don't know shit. You get a piece and you get a piece and you get a piece. And that's how we going to divvy this cow up. But, my thing is, how long is it going to be that's going to make them hungry enough to even contemplate such a thing? Or is it going to be the suggestion of some asshole once they just find out that, that there's no food,
I mean, hell, it was Dale who already was like freaking out over food before they even made it clear, like, that the food was running out. I mean, he
did overhear him though. He overheard him.
Yeah.
And he saw Donna line. And see, him and Donna, I heard somebody talking about he's not gonna be in the third season, which is kind of bad. Like, it's kind of bad that he wouldn't be in the third season. I think him and Donna are in cahoots on some shit. But if they didn't reveal the connection yet, then he can be missed out of a season and we wouldn't even care. But he became kind of significant with stabbing Ellis, and even he was there when they went to pick up Randall's body. He was the one who found Randall's body, wasn't he?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe he was the one who found Randall's body. So if he's just like absent during this season, that's gonna kind of suck.
Right. I mean, he, like, let's not forget, he was ready to, like, order the bus people out into the night. He was ordering them out of the house with a knife in his hand. And this was before the food ran out. I think he knew about the shortage, but the food hadn't run out. And dude's literally trying to send people out to their deaths in the middle of the
Yeah,
night.
he was trying to send them out there in the middle of the night. That was
That's a death
foul.
sentence. Like, that's
So
a death
it's
sentence.
almost like, okay, so you stab somebody, and then you gotta ask yourself, like, how does he not get punished for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy, right? You was about to push
Lenient.
people out in the cold of with the slow walkers at night. You turn around and inadvertently, or maybe purposely, who knows? You
Who
already had a
knows?
bone to pick with Ellis. Then you was talking about he was a good kid after the fact. Oh, Ellis is a good kid and all that dumb shit. Like,
Yeah.
nah, you was taking shots at his mom and everything. You know what I'm saying? He was taking
Yep.
shots at his
Yep.
deceased mom. Like,
Yeah, you gotta shoot up the place too, like
yeah.
mother, like son. Like, that was fucked up.
Now Sarah is another character that people are saying. Some people are actually theorizing that Sarah's is who is being tortured and killed. Now, here's the thing: Sarah is mad important. She
Yeah.
can communicate with these things when she wants.
Yeah.
Like when Catrice told her to prove it, she let that thing. And I want to point out too that the thing was controlling her. The
Mm-hmm.
thing was kind of controlling her.
I think so. Yeah.
People are rooting for a redemption arc with Sarah. Wouldn't it be so much cooler if Sarah was actually a bad person, not necessarily one of the entities, but if
Mm-hmm.
she was still working for them? It would explain why Paula was ripped apart. It would explain how she came and ended up right in a safe place. And when she went through the faraway tree, so she says she went and ended up in the church. It
Mm-hmm.
would explain why she like ended up in a nice safe spot.
Yeah.
You know, it would be a lot more interesting if she didn't get a redemption arc and she kind of doubled down on her bullshit. That
Yeah.
would be fire. You know, it would be crazy if she still tries to fucking get at Ethan. Like, yo, I told y'all we could all go home. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Trust me. You know what I'm saying? What if she's on that? So that would be fire. That would be more contentious than just giving her like this arc. Oh, I'm gonna do better and I'm gonna be a
Ugh.
better person. Like it would be more interesting if they kind of doubled down on her working for the entity.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't find it interesting at all if they're going the direction that it looks like in the trailer, where she's outside with Julie and Ethan, and I think it's her that has her hand over Ethan's mouth. And if I know it's going to happen. She's going to save them, and they're going to be like, oh, look, now all is
Yeah.
forgiven. All is forgiven. You saved the boy that you were going to try and kill. Like, I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, that shit's gonna be corny, right? Like it would be nice for her to have like something else going on because I'm pretty sure the demons or the entity didn't tell her to kiss Toby before she killed him. Like that didn't tell her to kiss him. So
Yeah.
that might be hinting that she's kind of sadistic or whatever. But I want to get to this comment by Glue Guns and Roses. She says, has anyone ever thought about From being connected to Roanoke? They always show old time people, but I don't know the exact year the Roanoke colony disappeared. I could be way off. What do you think about that? Yeah, and just to answer, short answer, yes, we have talked about that actually. We have talked about that in the Discord and also here on a couple of the lives and stuff. We've already connected it to the starving times, which I think is spot on.
Mm. Yeah, that's a really interesting point.
I remember Chocolate Beauty saying something about Roanoke as well. Chocolate Beauty, Yeah, she said she had to get her husband to catch up with From before season 3. Yes, indeed, do that, and also have him catch up on some real enigmas and theories so that he can be hip, to what we're talking about over here. I'd start him off with the lives just so he can be right on point. you know. But yeah, so we have talked about that. We have talked about the Roanoke, and we've talked about the Starving Times. We talked about the Salem witch trials. There are a couple other historical things. Delcinia actually posted in the Discord an entire list of historical events that coincide with the dates in the tower. So if you have, feel free to go over there and check that out. I'm gonna start broadening out that channel a little bit, and I'm gonna put the emoji room in there. I'm gonna put different parts of the room to make it a little bit more organized. But for now, you can go on in there and hang out and have some fun, join into the conversation. We definitely be in there cooking. Every day I go in there and it's like 50 messages that I have to see and read through. But I end up reading through it and commenting as I can. And I love it. It's fun. I had Discord back in 2017 and I hadn't used it until last week or two. And I'm enjoying myself. I like it. I had it when it first started, around the time it first started, and it has changed a lot. It's really dope. At first, it seems overwhelming, but just start off with one channel at first. And once you see how it works, just find other channels and other people out there, get other Discords. Jeremy Ice and Fire, Tony has one. I think it's Escaping From. There's a couple more out there. But yeah, Discord's pretty dope. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna get out of here. I got some work I gotta complete, and then I'm gonna start on my season 3 theory for you guys, and then work on that project with Taran. I'm gonna work on that project with Taran. I think I can do both of those simultaneously at the same time because it's pretty easy. But we got something to build for y'all. We got something for y'all to see. The trip is coming up soon. Again, if you want to support the trip, come through at the Cash App. It's $Real Enigma, or drop a super chat, buy some memberships. We got some dope emojis, more emojis coming on the way. And we're about to get out of here, guys. We appreciate all of you for coming. If I didn't get to your comment and you want to reach out to me, put it in the comment section of this video. I'll get to it. But until next time, just a little something to think about while we wait on the next episode. That's all for the live stream this evening. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
See ya.